AI recreates my art part 2. Now this time we're going to be doing a couple of things that people basically gave feedback on in the last version, so I wanted to respect and admire that criticism. And one of those is that you can upload an image and generate variations of it, which I was aware of, but that wasn't really what I was trying to do last time. But we're going to do that with this first one. This one is called Redemption, so you can see it on the screen. I kind of don't like explaining all of it to you because, you know, I don't want to act like you're dumb. You can definitely see what is on the screen, but for the sake of this, it is a dead astronaut on a Mars-like surface, maybe. I mean, it's not quite Mars because there's plants on here, but dead astronaut lying on a planet, face up, and there is a rose growing out of his waist belt. So I'm going to save this image. Can be see what DALLE comes up with when we regenerate it. Now this is the first time I've ever had DALLE regenerate some of my images. Last time I was just typing in the prompt and seeing what it would come up with in comparison. So this is going to be interesting. Okay, we got a heads up. There's three things to keep in mind when uploading to DALLE. Be respectful of others' rights. Don't upload photos of other people without consent. Images may be reviewed to enforce our safety policies. And we may use your data. And okay, yeah, cool. I'm selling my data for free. Cool. Let's go. Let's go. Generate variations. I always get the feeling that this is pretty slow, but you know, it's really not. I'm just not used to waiting on anything in the internet like that. Okay. Man, I'm actually kind of disappointed here. Now, I don't know what I can do to like change it, but it just what? I don't know. Okay, there's a few things like when we compare mine to DALLE's, it seemed like DALLE threw the whole 3D render look out the window, which is interesting. Like I guess go back in and maybe edit that, change that somehow. But also the rose looks pretty awful in my opinion. Now this rose looks decent, I would say. However, everything else about this image is like, what is this? I think this feature of DALLE probably needs some work. Like, I don't know. Maybe this image is too specific, but I thought this would be pretty simple, to be honest. So, let's see. I get it. You can edit the images. I don't really want to spend too much time doing that on today's video because that can take a long time. So for now, we're going to move on. If we have enough time, I'll come back and try to edit these a little bit. But what I'm going to do is compare this to like actually just typing the prompt in, and maybe that will change it. No idea, but we're doing something different today. So, okay, we got dead astronaut on Mars lying face up. Giant rose has grown out of his waist belt. Rolling Martian hills. Space rover wrecked and weathered to the left of his dead body. 3D render, 4K. Let's do hyper realistic. We'll just see what happens. Just see what happens. I know that works in DALLE or in Midjourney, so let's see. I've never done the 4K thing. I didn't do the 3D render thing in the last video, so we'll see. I have no idea what this is gonna look like. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed with the. Oh, okay. Okay. So this is interesting. This is interesting because this, like right here, it's still missing the point of some of these things. And you know what? Maybe I understand that you can always get more and more specific. So there's like this. Even this kind of didn't seem to understand what I was saying, but it does look a lot closer to what I was doing. Or what I had. And then there's this one, which, you can't expect it to be exactly the same, right? Maybe we edit this one somehow. Image editing is in beta. Okay. Upload an image. Let's upload that image to see if maybe it, oh no, this is not what that does. Okay. Add generation frame. I don't know what any of this does, to be honest. If you guys have any suggestions on like learning how to edit with DALLE, because I haven't done any of this and I don't want to like waste all my time on this, send like a link, or leave suggestions in the comments below, and maybe we'll focus on that in the next video of this series. If you're looking forward to that, please hit the subscribe button so that we can make it happen. For now, we're gonna move on. Maybe generate some variations of this one. Actually, I do like this one. I think it's kind of cool. Although it did miss the point of the rose growing out of his belt. He's just holding a rose. And so sometimes I wonder, like, what part am I doing wrong? Am I making just run-on sentences that it doesn't understand, or... Okay. This astronaut is not even... Strange thing about these is, like, sometimes the astronaut is not even cohesively a person. It's just... You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's this one, which looks, like, fantastic for the most part. Although, what is that? Hold on. Can we zoom in here? Yeah, we can. Why does he have two arms on one side? There's like a forearm here, and then it's like no more, doesn't need a hand or anything, and then there's an arm beneath it. So strange. The things that this thing does sometimes. Yeah, but this was cool. It's a cool little thing that we did here. Maybe let's move on to the next piece. Okay, so this one is called Raw Love, and I'm really curious to see how this is going to turn out, because I feel like this is a pretty doable one for AI in particular, because it is kind of abstract. So it's a realistic looking heart, hyper realistic actually, and there's a grenade in it basically. So I think you could get the gist of that. Let's save this image, and we're gonna see what it does to regenerate this, and then we're also gonna type in a prompt, see what it does. I feel like Midjourney would nail this one. DALLE maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, obviously DALLE and like Midjourney and stuff, they're really fast for what they do, but yeah, I'm not used to just watching something load that long. Wow. Okay, now that's okay. This one is actually quite impressive, because in a way, actually, the hand is better than my hand. In terms of realism, it definitely is more realistic. You can see the skin, the fine skin detail, the imperfections and everything. Even the subsurface looks, more realistic. It looks like a more realistic hand. And then, oddly, we kind of shift away from the realism and go into this more of a painterly look. And whereas mine is obviously like opposite of that, the hand is less real, and then the grenade is more real. That's crazy. Or the heart in the grenade. But what I really like about this is that this actually looks shockingly like one of the images that I made for this project. If I can find that, I'm definitely gonna show you guys, because that's like almost shockingly similar. Okay, so I used to have an angle of this where it was it was kind of like this, and it was I don't know, I must have deleted the keyframes or something, but I think that looks pretty damn, like, in my head, that looks very close to this, doesn't it? Like, it really kind of nailed the grenade part, which I think that's awesome. So now let's try typing in a prompt. And again, you guys, I know I'm not editing these images great, so if you have suggestions for how to do that, I've never used the editing tools in DALLE, so definitely something I'm not familiar with. So leave suggestions and advice in the comments below, please. We got human hand holding a realistic human heart, which has a grenade inside of it, and the pin is sticking out through one of the heart valves. 3D render, 4K, hyper realistic. Let's go. Let's go. Wow. Huh. So in this particular instance, definitely uploading the image was the best thing to do. I think it turned out better. The heart came out looking like a motor, and everything looks pretty robotic. It didn't nail this one in the same way that it nailed the variations of this last image, which are shockingly good. I mean, like, Like this, look at that. You know, I like these ones a lot, whereas these ones are like a different style, different kind of concept. It's definitely going a more like robotic, futuristic look than the last ones were. So, let's see what happens if we remove hyper realistic. Also, guys, I don't know if 4K does anything. I know it does for Midjourney. I have no idea what it does for DALLE. So, okay, the hyper realistic was a good addition. We can definitely see that because now it got worse. That's for sure. These colors are awful, in my opinion. Let's say Unreal Engine. I know you can do that in Midjourney, and it actually does some cool stuff. So let's see what happens when you do that here. And I'm probably running out of my free DALLE submissions for now, which is it's not cool. So if you want to see more of this, let me know by, you know, liking, subscribing, and everything, because I might have to purchase it. Yeah, I would say this is a loss. This is a loss for DALLE. I understand, you guys. I could keep going more and more into detail. This part is a win, I would say, especially this image. However, typing in a prompt did not get exactly what I wanted from it, and it was pretty far from it. So maybe let's try one last image, and we will be on to, we'll be wrapping this one up. All right, so our final image is, no, that was not it. Our final image, my God. Okay, so my final image that I'm gonna be submitting is called Upper Class. I think this is a really cool one to see what AI will come up with, because it is a man, a giant godlike man made of coins. And I think that could come through really cool in AI. And I'm not even really looking for it to replicate this necessarily, because I want to see how abstract it'll get. I know that Midjourney gets really abstract. So first of all, yes, let's upload the image, see what happens. This is like a real AI type of prompt, you know, where you're like, I don't quite know exactly what I'm looking for, but wow. It did a couple of things here that I actually like about this in some ways more than I like my image. I like the reflections and stuff here. I think on mine it looks a little bit dull. If I were to go back, I'd probably touch that up. You know, it still does have that weird patchy DALLE kind of AI art look to it. Smooth and patchy and not quite, I don't know what the word is. Concise, precise, cohesive. You know, it's like it almost gets it, but it doesn't, so it blurs the lines of everything. Yeah, the birds aren't too great, but I do like the reflections, and I think this one kind of nailed it, to be honest with you. It's not quite there in comparison to this one, but there are aspects of it that are definitely better in a way. So yeah, that's really cool. Wow. Yeah, no, I thought it would nail this one, and it really kind of did. So I'm kind of stoked to see that work. Now, let's just, out of, you know, curiosity, let's see what it does when I type in a similar prompt. If you guys disagree with my prompts, now I know I realized when I was kind of editing it for a little bit that in my last video I had typos and shit in my prompts, so that doesn't help. Okay, giant man made out of American coins standing high into the clouds, blue sky, shot with a 120mm lens, 3D render, ominous god feel. No idea how this, you know, lens thing is gonna work out. And also don't know if ominous god feel does anything. I know it kind of does in Midjourney. Midjourney seems to accept almost everything you say. That is quite the way to end this video, guys. Okay, it looks like this request may not follow our content policy. Further policy violations may lead to an automatic suspension of your account. Dude, what? Is it the religion? Dude, I don't want to resubmit this. Okay. In the comments below, let me know what I did wrong here. What is it in this little prompt that's sparking this policy violation? Is it the American? Is it giant man? Is it ominous god feel? Because, you know, religious sort of things. It doesn't want to get into that. I don't know. but I don't want to suspend my account, so I'm not going to take the risk here, because, you know, this is one of those things that's hard to get back into, I would suspect. Wow, what a way to end that video, right? I threatened a suspension, and I don't really know why. So if you know why, please let me know in the comments below. But also, what I want to hear from you is some advice to propel me forward into part 3 of the series, where I'm supposed to be editing the images with inside of DALLE. I have no idea how to do that. Okay, I'll look like a total idiot, so definitely, you know, maybe help me out a little bit there. I'm sure it's pretty intuitive, but if you have advice, you know, maybe leave some links down below and some tips, and I'm looking forward to that. If you are too, please let me know by hitting that like and subscribe button. I'm Jordan Needham, this has been Jham 3D, and I will catch you next time.